Russ Amber, who's a good friend of mine, in fight week, I was talking to him. He said, Peter, this was just for us an average Joe until you got involved.
Hello and good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are. It's Abs of October Red, and I'm here. You know what? I'm quite happy to have you here, Peter, because overnight, yet again, you become a little bit of a celebrity. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got Peter Fury here. I've seen you do 6,080 interviews. I thought I'm never going to get hold of him. He's going to be too busy because you're like the star of the moment. And I know what it's like in the media. We kind of, well, some of us more than others, we kind of leech onto the popularity, don't we? Like, oh, let's get him because he's the flavor of the week, the flavor of the month.
What did he say? Today's news, tomorrow's
toilet paper
or chip paper or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
that's how it normally is, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm grateful, very grateful, as always, Peter, for your time. I've straight off the bat as well. I think I owe you an apology. I think I owe Rico an apology as well, to be fair.
Whatever for? Why? What have you done now?
No. I just didn't think this fight was going to go the way it did, Peter. I thought it was going to be open and shut. Usyk, the masterclass boxer, because of what we've seen from him every time. Yes, everyone's got flaws, but he's been unbeaten for such a long amount of time. I thought, this is open and shut, but I'm going to watch it anyway because I was a little bit intrigued, especially after we spoke. So, Peter, the fight, break it down and you can beat me with all the facts because I deserve it. I deserve it.
I think everybody had the same opinion because they're just looking at a kickboxer coming into a new sport. So why wouldn't they? So I think, yeah, it's just what it is, Abs. I think people just looked at it and thought, yeah, he's a big lump. He's a kickboxer, but there's so much involved in boxing, he's never going to be able to do that transition. And that's what you normally would think. But he did, and he done the transition exceptionally well.
What was it like to train him? Because I was like falling asleep because the event itself, they had really long breaks and they were regurgitating a lot of stuff. So I was in and out of consciousness because I came down with the flu over the weekend.
Yeah.
But I woke up as soon as the ring walk started. And the way Rico, I've got to give him props for that ring walk. The way he like slammed his like fist down on the floor and bolted into the ring. I was like, darted up like, oh my gosh, this guy means business. He's going for it. And that's when you saw that switch. And I was like, I'm glad I stayed awake now. I'm glad. But the training, the leading up to that, Peter, I need you to talk to me about that.
Oh, him and his team, me, Dennis, and all of the team there. You know, Arnold, the S&C, not the S&C coach, that's John. So there's about 5 or 6 in the team. And, yeah, everybody's done a fantastic job getting him ready. That's all I can tell you. You know, everybody's worked very, very hard to get him in that condition, working on them game plans, and it's not been easy. You can imagine. It's definitely not been easy. He's done hundreds of rounds of sparring, perfecting, just on these strategies. So he got it off. I'm very proud of him, what he's achieved, because you've heard of that old saying, he held his shit together. So he did. He held it together. He just, he did start to panic a bit in the last round, although he was getting a bit tired as well. But I asked him about it because the actual shot he took was a shot we kept warning him about in sparring. That's the shot not to do, you know. It's all right throwing a couple of shots and then what he needed to do. Well, we know what he needed to do and he'd been practicing it, but he didn't. He threw the shots and walked forward again. Well, obviously, when you throw shots like that, Usyk's going to step back, see where you're coming with your head down and bang that uppercut right in. And he did. So fair play to him. He just lost concentration and he just said, you know, I thought I need to make an impact with these points, in case I don't stop him. So he he lost a little bit of the game plan.
Yeah. And I know what you're like. For those of you that don't know what Peter's like, I've been around you and I've said it, how you train your fighters, and you will drill them to the point of the fighter's frustration if they can't get that right. And even when they're frustrated, you will say the same thing to them over and over again. I've said it, Peter, I've witnessed you train your fighters. So I know exactly what you're like in there.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah, I think mainly due to a probably bit of tiredness and stuff. I think you know you've got to give him. I'll tell you what. Look, nobody's perfect. Nobody can have the perfect performance. But to say he did what he did and the way he done it, was exceptional for me. This is a guy that's not boxed. He's in kickboxing. He's come over to the sport and he's fought the best in the world at that weight. So he done exceptionally very well.
can you talk to me a little bit about that style he had? He had his hand. I've seen Huey Fury do it, so I know where the style comes from. He's got his hands in like this rolling motion. And when he's rolling his hands, so they're continuously moving, his head's continuously moving, his feet are continuously moving. And it was almost like when you see Usyk's more sharp at. He does this a similar thing, but he's got a slightly different rhythm to it. So Rico had his own, like he was continuously, I think he was continuously moving to the left as well. There were certain things that he was doing where he was in good positions to land like the backhand. The backhand was the sweet shot for him.
What I will say is there's a lot of analysing in this in world level boxing, especially at heavyweight.
Okay.
So lighter weights, people can excuse me, get away with stuff. In the heavyweight division, if you haven't got a good defense, it's over. So although it looked like Rico was like taking punches because he looked like he was walking in, them punches was like skimming. There was no power in them shots because Rico was able to offset them. What I mean by that is, let's just say we're there, Rico's here. So then your punches are not coming straight, they're going over there or they're going to the right. So then that means offset, there's no power in them punches. So that was why Rico could come forward, keep moving, because he could deflect the power off. So that's number one. Number two, it's not a beauty competition. We don't need to look spectacular. What we need to be is effective, nullify your opponent and get your work done. That's the bottom line here. So I've always said, and the great Lennox Lewis said the same thing. He said, world level boxing at this level is a game of chess. And that's what it is. Who's the best chess player? Because one slip and your head's off. So you're seeing after 11 rounds, as soon as Rico lost a little bit of his control, he gave one little opening, Usyk took it. That's all it takes. So when people say, "Oh, what's he doing? This jerky jerky movement and moving around," Usyk. I think what it is with Usyk, people's not happy with the way Usyk looked because it was because of what Rico was making him do. And
Right.
this is
For
the
the ignoramus, can you explain that? Because a lot of people are saying that Usyk is, oh well, bloody hell, he's finished. But it that sort of diminishes what Rico's done. So can you explain?
well, what it is, the style that Rico had and the style that he perfected made Usyk work to Rico's pace. Yeah. So because Rico's first, Usyk has got to watch, he's got to see. And when shots are not readily available, that means Usyk is going to stop throwing. So he needs to look and wade up and see where he's at. Also, if he fires a shot and he's not sure, he can get it heavily back. So that tells you one thing. You're going to stop throwing punches. You're going to be looking, you're observing, you're waiting. All of this. These all factor in world level boxing. That's it. So fights can look a bit mundane on the outside to the naked eye. Yeah. And we know we've got boxing journalists. We know they know boxing to a degree. But their boxing and my boxing and my knowledge of boxing is on a different level to any journalist. And I'm not disrespecting him, but I know what it's like to get in there. I'm training heavyweights every day, year in, year out, and I perfect millimeters. So I understand where I need to have the guy, where he stands, he steps back, why he leans forward, everything what Rico was doing for a reason, because he's fighting a super intelligent, super great boxer in Usyk. So we have to nullify them skills down. And that's what Rico managed to do. So when I say I'm very, very proud of his achievements and what he did, I'm proud of what he was able to do with Alexander Usyk.
When you look at like the levels, Peter, you've got a novice. Rico's a novice in boxing. So I think I'm looking at like the uproar, the public uproar of like all of us had this preconceived, planted idea in our head of how it was going to go. And because it didn't go the way we expected it to, we almost start like regurgitating or throwing up rubbish to justify why we believe it went like that. Did you?
It comes down to this saying, and I don't mean this in this sense because I'm not the type of man. I value everyone's opinion, but it's like trying to give your sense to a fool, if that makes sense. When you know something, you know it. When I'm in the ring with my fighter day in, day out, every single day for 6 months, we know what we know, me and Rico and Dennis. Yeah, we know what we do. Dennis is a phenomenal trainer in his own right. He's had Rico, I don't know, forever, kickboxing world champion. What Dennis doesn't know about the fight game ain't worth knowing. He's one of the most astutest guys that I've come across. I value his opinion. So there's me and him in doing this 6 months. And I think me and him know our boxing and know the fight game. Yeah. we've been doing things together for 15 plus years. Yeah. So when it comes to analysing things, when it comes to getting the fighter ready, and I'm going into all of this because I've heard comments where, Usyk's not on his A game. He's not come in, he's not in shape. He ain't took this seriously.
I thought he'd overlooked him. I thought he'd overlooked you. But I said that to you when we first spoke, Peter. I did. I thought as Usyk overlooked him because he was kind of like, yeah, I can fight who I want.
Usyk trains that his life depends on it in every camp he has. That's number one. Russ Amber, who's a good friend of mine, in fight week, I was talking to him. He said, Peter, this was just for us, an average Joe, until you got involved. He said, and then all of the team said, something's going to come out here because Peter's in it. And Peter don't work with taxi drivers. That's what me and Russ Amber was having a conversation. And I just laughed. He said, I know you're not going to give the plans away. I said, well, you'll see on the night. He said, but something tells me, we don't know what to expect. So I said, yeah. I said, fair enough. I said, he's a great man. I said, and we've trained accordingly. He said, but Peter, he said, I've got to be honest. He said, I've watched him train in the hotel, even in fight week. And he said, it's on another level what Usyk does. Look, let's go through it slowly. His weight. He's boxing a man 20 kilos of solid muscle heavier. Yeah? He's put on 6 pounds. That bit of flesh around your waist is not a beauty competition, I'm afraid. Yeah? That bit of weight around your waist absorbs them punches that you can take them better. So that was a strategic move by Team Usyk. I can tell you that. And I haven't spoken to them about it. But I know. Because I'm in heavyweight boxing. I know what the body does with certain things. So everything is strategically done. Also, what people didn't see was the amount of pressure Rico was putting on Alexander. For Alexander to withstand that round after round after round and get hit as well, and get body punches, and get roughed up on the inside, take that sheer body weight, because Rico's an absolute bull. He is powerful. Yeah, even the body weight. He can literally, he's like a professional rugby player. He can bump into you and knock you 20 metres down the road. Somebody my size. He's got proper, powerful body strength. So the thing is, let's say Alexander's took his foot off the pedal and he hasn't took him 100% serious. You've seen he's marked up. You've seen Rico's marked up. They've been hitting each other for 11 rounds. Yeah? Look what Usyk done when he landed the uppercut and he put the fight back on again. He sprung into action and he was bombarding them shots. If Usyk hadn't have had a great camp, yeah, hadn't to train like a Trojan and knew there was a threat there, which he did know there was a threat there, because I know people in his camp, we speak. They're friends of mine anyway. So this guy was well prepared for Rico. He did not overlook Rico. He didn't not have the ambition, oh, it's this guy, I'll have an easy night. No. It was because how it looks to the public what Rico was doing. What Rico was doing to Usyk, Usyk's never had before in his career. So that's the reality. And when I explain it to people, they're not getting it, which I understand. But that's for me to get and them to catch up, isn't it? But I know what's what. Rico knows what's what. And I've got some news for you. I said to Rico in the dressing room talking, because you're always talking to your fighter. And always my concern when he's coming over from kickboxing to boxing is to look up and say, don't listen to what the media is saying. Really, I felt like telling him, come off social media. Yeah? But he's strong enough to understand. I said, look, they don't know what we know. They don't know you. I do. And I'm putting my neck on the line and saying to you, do what I ask you to do, and this fight's going to unfold in this manner. I'm going to stand on that. And I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. That's the kind of confidence you put into your fighter. And Rico done exactly that. There was no surprises, and it went exactly as we planned it. Because it's meticulously planned. Now, there's always a 1 or 2% that it might not. But as a level playing field, we don't get things too far wrong when it's world title fights like this. There's a lot goes into it. There's more dedication, there's more analysing, and we look at it properly. So we're able to roughly gauge how it's going to be and what's going to happen to a certain degree.
When you started...
If the fighter does what we ask, and he did.
When you started to see him tire, because one of the things, and I will go on to, because while I've been waiting and, laying in wait to kind of pounce on you, I have seen some other interviews that you've done. And one in particular was the TalkSport one, and I'll get to that. But when we're coming into the later rounds in the fight, Peter, and you're starting to notice potentially like the fatigue, like you said, from the experience, I guess maybe the adrenaline starting to wear down, all of these things that you'd have as expertise as a coach. What was you saying to him when you started to notice that, okay, you really got to switch on now, I can see you're tired? Or what was the advice that you was giving him to try and ensure he stayed on that game plan, Peter?
When you're in the corner, it's not got to be too much detail. It's keep to your boxing. Keep to your plans. Keep to your boxing. Yeah? And that was basically, I can't remember what happened in the corner. I don't really look at things back, but I will watch it back. And obviously I was talking to him in the corner. But yeah, I think in the 11th round or whatever, I think due to a bit of fatigue as well. But not so much that. I think he got a bit anxious trying to get, because he was looking at the rounds going, there's one more round left. And I think he really tried to make a dent in Usyk, thinking, I could be behind or whatever. He was unsure of where he was, with the scores or whatever. But that's not what he should have been thinking. If he just stuck to the plans, but it's easier said than done. I'm absolutely over the moon what Rico's achieved, what he's done. And like I said, it's only ring IQ and that experience over 12 rounds that he hadn't had. So you can plan as much as you want. You've only got to flay around the edges. A lot of it is up here. If you lose that and you start trying to do your own thing and your own thought process, it can go wrong if you stray off the plans. That's all.
One of the things that I noticed is obviously when the bell went, you've done this to death. The ref called it. It is what it is. But one of the things that I did notice that Usyk was still punching, like after the bell, after the stoppage, he was still going, and it was like, refs jumping in. What did you think about that?
I didn't think anything. Usyk's got a man in front of him. The referee's not there. He's going for the stoppage. Why wouldn't he? So I never heard the bell. I'm quite sure Usyk hasn't heard it. And the referee said he never heard it. So it was one of them. I think when Rico went down and he got up and Usyk's come after him again, the crowd's gone in uproar and drowned the noise of the bell.
It was loud as hell.
It was loud, yeah. So that's what's probably happened. But it is what it is. We've discussed the referee. I'm
not going to do that to death with you because I know you've done that already.
Yeah.
Right, Peter. I've got to get into it because I was, like I said, I've been patiently waiting to grab hold of you. We had arranged something for next week, but I was like, no. You've done your media tour. It's been very interesting listening to you regurgitating everything over and over again. But what I found...
It amazes me how many... It's the same thing. Two men with a pair of shorts on the throw punches. Usyk's landed a bomb of an uppercut to end the fight round. There's not much more you can add, is it?
No, there isn't. But what I can add, and what I do want to ask you about is you went on to TalkSport. I've only saw it probably about a couple of hours ago now.
Yeah.
And you were there like, how can I put it? Almost like a teacher that was testing the knowledge of a student. It was quite interesting because you was like, well, actually, I've got some questions for you. And it was based on an earlier podcast when, like I said, it seemed as if everyone's trying to be as fair as they can, but it was undermining Usyk to give Rico the credit. So what happened there? Because you asked the questions and then Simon was like saying you were sensitive. I didn't think you was being sensitive. I just thought you were, stating the facts.
Look, I'll start from the beginning. Simon Jordan's got this thing about me where I'm in. What's he saying? Sensitive.
He said, "So you're sensitive."
What's sensitive or insensitive?
No, I thought he said you were being sensitive.
Okay, sensitive. Okay.
Yeah.
So what he's referring to was they wanted to first interview Rico. So Rico's manager, I said yes, he can have the interview. So Rico's team spoke to me and said, it's not a good idea Rico should do that interview because we've listened to what they've had to say the day or two before. So I went back to Ed and I said, we've decided we don't want to do it. At the start. Yeah? And he said, okay, it's not like you think. I said, well, we're not interested. Don't want to do it. Yeah? So that's the team. I'm not sensitive to anything. People can say whatever they don't like to me. I've had stick. When you're in the limelight, yeah, you get thick skin anyway. So whatever somebody's got to say to me, and I think this is the mix-up. And I thought when Simon was talking to me earlier on, and I said, no, that's not correct. That never happened. I'm thinking he's on about to me being sensitive. So I'm not sensitive, yeah. But what he's on about, when I've watched it back, because somebody's pointed out to me, I've looked at it, and he's on about where I refused Rico coming on in the first place. And he's right. That's what he's trying to say. So he's correct there. So when I'm saying, no, that's not happened, it did happen. But I've misheard him because there's that much going on. I thought he's accusing me of being sensitive. And I'm going, no, that's not correct. That's not happened. So basically, just stuff like this. But what I was trying to say,
yeah,
in their opinion, Usyk looked flabby. He looked disinterested. Now, I will say this: look, Usyk not is disinterested. Usyk is looking for a solution and can't find one. That's what the reality is. Not that he's disinterested. It's like This guy's in front of me. He's a danger. He's presenting nothing, and he's all over me. Yeah, and he's taking a lot of my ability away. How do I deal with this? So that's what Usyk was thinking as the rounds was going on. Yeah, not that he's disinterested. He was trying to think of how to work Rico out. So this is where everybody's got a misconception. And I appreciate what everybody says. But heavyweight boxing is a different sport to all sports. It's different. Yeah. So why was Usyk a little bit slower, they thought? I know why. But I don't want to say the reasons why, because Usyk's going to fight on again, and I don't want people. We've got our own strategies. We know what we do. But there's a reason for Usyk to be like he is. So it's what Rico was doing, what made him be the way he is. And there's a lot to the naked eye that people won't see, which we see. So that's all I was trying to ask Simon. I was going on about the body weights and stuff. I don't know Usyk's exact weight, but every time I see him outside of camp, I've seen him in Monaco once. He drops weight. He's a lean type of a character. Yeah. And he drops weight. So when he comes into camp, he bulks up because he's from cruiserweight to heavyweight. So when they're saying he's got a bit of a weight around him, it's intentional. Because if Usyk goes and lays on his couch, he'll get a six-pack because he goes the opposite direction. This is what I was trying to explain. He goes lean, not fatter. Because everybody's body genetics are different. So what they're looking at, the pundits, aren't they? And they only know so much about this game. So I wasn't being patronising to him. I wasn't saying anything. But he's telling me I'm insensitive when I'm not. So obviously, what can I do? To be honest, I started laughing at it.
Yeah, I watched it. I was about to get it back up so you could have a little replay, but
because the thing is, Abs, look, everything's coming at me 100 miles an hour. When I ask a question, it seems like I'm getting drowned. It's like whoa, 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 whoa. What about this? What about that? Oh, you're being like this. I ain't being anything. I'm asking you a cold-blooded question about boxing. You know everything, or you pretend you do. Answer me these questions. And I'm just putting it back. But look, Simon, listen, I ain't got a problem with the guy. Actually, I enjoy watching him. I enjoy what he does. I enjoy him patronising people. That's part of his job, isn't it? And I know what he does. So that's not going to affect somebody like me at all, is it? So I don't mind. What he needs to do, Simon Jordan, is put our boxing to the test. I will come on his show, yeah, and let's talk and debate about certain fighters and what he thinks, because I'm happy to hear it.
I'd actually be quite interested to hear you on there as like a panel member anyway. I do think that you'll probably be called back on there to do some more work again.
Listen, I think they do an incredible job. I go into a lot of taxis in London, and everybody has TalkSport on. So when I speak to all these black cabbies and stuff, they're all listening to it. So whatever they're doing, keep it up, keep everything going. If Simon wants to call me insensitive or whatever, it's fine. I don't care. But I'm only putting back my views on it all. So that's it. Whatever he wants to think, whatever, I understand. But, I think I'm definitely not sensitive. But when I was putting questions back, all I was getting, well, you're sensitive or insensitive. And Usyk, I thought, was terrible. And I didn't think Rico was much better either. So 1 minute he's telling me Rico's okay and he's done well. The next thing, he heated a moment, he doesn't rate Rico either. Which, again, it's okay. I don't care, really. Everybody's got a point of view. Yeah, and I'm happy with it. That's why we do these interviews. People can pick holes in what you say. They can do anything. I only speak as I find. But I got no problems with anybody. I'm happy.
Well, the thing is, when you're being honest, Peter, you haven't got to remember a story, have you?
I definitely don't know, and I only speak what I see. To be honest, I'll tell you what I don't like to hear. When you've got a great person like Alexander Usyk, yeah, who's achieved everything, and I was there, and I know what my man's capable of. Yeah. And he gave Usyk hell in there. For him to stand there, withstand all of that, come back and produce them goods in the 11th round is admirable. Not anybody, especially a journalist telling me when I love boxing and I love good people to diminish what they've done in a 12 round fight, which is a very difficult scenario. So that's the only thing. There's a little bit of not too much class there, because to undervalue somebody like Usyk's achievements and what he's done, it's not the way forward in my opinion. Look, we're the challenger. If anybody's going to do it, then it should be me, shouldn't it? Should be saying, oh well, he got knocked down, but that ain't fair. We need the rematch, blah blah blah, all that shit talk. Yeah, but it's not, because I value what people do in them training camps. I know how hard it is. I know what they go through. They go through blood and sweat. That man's away from his family, his children, and to say like he's undertrained, trust me, that is so far ridiculous. That's a statement which doesn't hold water, because of what Rico was doing, what a lot of people don't see. So that's the only thing, it's if Alexander listening to these interviews, what they say, it's not nice for him. It's not nice for him. And look, who cares about the point system? Yeah. If I can lose every round, come up with an uppercut, knock my man out, I'm very happy. A win is a win, job done. Yeah. Rico made an error, he paid the price. Yeah. If the referee would have sent him back to the corner, yeah, we could have had a different result. We could have went to the scorecards. Rico could have landed a bomb on him, or he could have finished the job properly, which a lot of people saying he probably would have. But would have, could have, should have, we will never know, will we? Yeah. But what I've said in these interviews, and I've done many of them, what started the controversy in the first place? Rico made a mistake. Usyk capitalised on it, turned the fight around. That's where it starts and ends, isn't it? Yeah. But we can all do better. I could have done better. There's things in that fight what I could have done better myself. There's things that Rico could have done. There'll be things that Alexander Usyk could have done. This is the sport we're in. We're not perfect. We're human. It's like me trying to hang the referee. He's done what he could at the time. I don't see anything in it. He's not heard the bell, has he? So, and I asked him, and that's what he said. So I haven't heard the bell. So what am I going to do? Start accusing the referee or whatever? You can't do anything. It is what it is. The main thing is Alexander Usyk has retained his belts, and he's retained them very well. Rico has done exceptionally well, and people's going to see that Rico is not a one-hit wonder. He's definitely not. He's back. He's going to have another fight and expect to see big, big improvements in him again. Because when you're first time in a boxing, you're fighting on a world level, there's got to be some niggling doubts. There's got to be all kinds going on. You've not experienced it. Yeah. I know what he needs to work on, the bit of experience things, and we'll work on that and he'll improve. But he is a phenomenal athlete. Look at the shape he's in. The shape he's in alone tells you the work ethic. So I'm looking forward to seeing him in big fights. They're going to get him in big fights. And yeah, it's exciting for Rico Verhoeven and his team. It's exciting for everybody. And but I'll tell you this, if people's underestimating Alexander Usyk, yeah, and they're looking at that fight and thinking, this is my opinion, I think differently outside the box than anybody else. Yeah. I think that fight's done Alexander Usyk the world of good. Yeah. He will go back, look, adjust, and what a perfect way to get back into world contention, having a good, hard 11 rounds. What a tune-up to fight again the top of the world. So I think people's in for another surprise with this guy.
Hey,
when he's saying he's over the hill,
nah,
no, not at all.
Peter. I'm preaching the well, I'm not. I'm potentially predicting the future. Have you, or do you think you will be contacted by any heavyweights that potentially could fight Usyk in what could be his last two fights?
No. The only reason we took look, I like Usyk. He's a God fearing man, and I do. I've got a lot of respect for the guy. I see how he is with his family, how he speaks.
Mm-hmm.
I look at his boxing IQ and what he's done. It's fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a great human being, and I took this with Rico because Rico's my long, real close friend for 15 years.
All right.
We've got a very, very close relationship, you know. Him and Dennis, I know them, I've known them for years. So what I put into this, I wouldn't be doing it for anybody else.
All right.
I'm not there for the money yet,
I
Abs.
know, I know. You've
You know
said
what I
this
mean?
before.
I'm there out of friendship and being honourable to my man and giving him the best shout and possible chance he can have. And that's why I'm very proud of him, what he's done and what he's achieved. I'm not into anything else. So if somebody come to ask me train a fighter at world level and put me in the corner against Usyk, I'm not doing it. I'm
I
not
thought
doing
I'd
it.
ask.
Listen,
I know how it goes, though. I know how it goes, Peter. I
nobody's
can just.
buying me for some pound notes. That's not happening. I ain't done it this far. That's it. I'm not interested. Plus, I'm too busy. I've got my own boxers happening now. I've
Yep.
got Matty, who you know well.
Yep.
He's on in July. We start proper camp with him Monday.
Who's
Uh,
he fighting? Has it been announced? It's nothing.
no,
Nothing.
I don't think it's been announced. I don't know who it
Okay.
is. They're going to work on that. And yeah, I've got a few fights coming up. So we're back in the gym on Monday. I was hoping for a month's rest, but that's not to
Nah,
be.
that ain't happening.
I thought, yeah, I thought I've been to Egypt, fought this big world title fight. Now I'm back in the gym on Monday.
Yeah,
Me
there's,
weeks flying, abs. I mean,
yeah,
the clock is going bum
yeah,
bum 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 like this.
yeah. It's going to happen. But I think Rico. I saw how impressed Turkey Al Sheikh was with him. Very
Yeah,
impressed. That was plain for anybody to see. And to be fair to him, when he likes you, when he's impressed with you, he gives you the work. He does, because we've seen it time and time again.
yeah, exactly.
Is there a potential then that he could put, well, he could fight on the ring cards again, but when you think about Rico signing, could he sign to potentially Zoffat, or what are you going to do with him? Because he's going to be in demand now. I've heard certain people try to talk him down. This was what I found quite funny, Peter.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, he'll definitely fight again. I think we should put him in with someone like a Gerald Miller or whatever. And I thought, you want to keep him away from them top 10 or top five. So they've pushed him. I mean, he's just gone in for against you, Usyk. I'd say he could go back in at that level again. But what's the plan? What's the plan for Rico? What are you going to do with him?
it's not up to me. He's got a good team. He's got management there,
Yeah,
and they'll decide what they're going to do. But obviously, my job is to train him, isn't it? My
yeah,
job is to make Rico and put more improvements there, which is not hard to do because he'll improve himself anyway by having that experience. He'll look it back and look. There's only one way you improve. You get wet, you get in there, and you come again. But he's a phenomenal big heavyweight. He's got a lot of talent for sure, and I expect big things from him. Yeah, I think he's going to win a world title. I really do. I think he's going to be back up there, and he's got every chance of being a world champion boxer. So that's how good Rico is, and he's versatile as well. He's he's a lot better than people think he is. That's for sure.
well, I'm
I
going to leave it there.
think Team Usyk knows that as well.
Well, I think we've all learned a lesson, including myself, this weekend. I'll just keep on reflecting back to when we spoke a week before, and you was like, "I'm just looking forward to a really good fight. We've trained exceptionally hard. You just laid out the facts that there were, and it was all. Looking back now, it looks like you were quietly confident, as you should be anyway in your fighter. Um, but it's like, wow, Peter really knew a lot without saying anything and went in there and surprised us
Because
all.
we know our teams, don't we? Look, Alexander come over to me. Look, this is the type of man he is. I'm in the opposite corner.
Yep.
Get there. We get there Tuesday. Alexander comes over to me. He said, "Hey, you're all right, Peter." We shook hands. That respect is there.
Yeah.
At the press conference, we come up. We met up again. We had a few words. Even the night before at the weigh-in, I made my way over to Alexander Usyk. I shook his hand because I deeply respect the guy he is.
Mm-hmm.
That's the type of man I am. It's a sport, not we're not speaking. I don't like you. You're fighting my man. When I say my prayers, and when I said my prayers for this fight, and I say them twice a day, let both men come out healthy, and you, my blessed Lord, decide who's going to win. May the best man win. That's my prayers for these fighters. I don't want nothing given. We'll earn it. And whatever the blessed Lord decides, he decides. And that's it. That's the way I go about it. That's my beliefs. That's the way I go about this sport. I don't have to dislike somebody because we're in the opposite corner. It's not the case. Do I want my man to win? I'm giving him every opportunity to win. I put my best foot forward. But that doesn't mean I've got dislike for the other person in the ring. That respect is as big as Mount Everest. So that's the way that I do my work. And, even at the end, he's a funny guy, Alexander, because he's looking at the crowd and I can see him. He's come over, and he said, yeah, I can't really think what he said. He meant something about being, smart guy or something, he said. Because real knows real, and the respect is there for what we do at this level. So if Alexander gives me respect, it means a lot for me because he knows he's boxing as good or as bad as anybody. So when somebody gives you respect like that, it's very much appreciated. And likewise, that respect is given back. So that's where we are in world boxing. I just wish everybody the best. I got no enemies. Simon Jordan, me and you are pals. He says I'm insensitive. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm insensitive, but we are where we are. Well, me and him will have a debate properly, face to
Yeah.
face.
I look forward to that.
He
Listen,
can call me all the names he likes.
well, yeah, you can both do it. I'll stand there and referee. If it's
Yeah,
face to face,
exactly.
invite me down, will you?
Yeah.
Yeah, Peter, listen, I appreciate your time. I am going to come and see you anyway, up at the gym. Congratulations on the birth of your grandchild as well. I forgot to say that at the beginning.
Yeah,
The
thank you.
family is expanding. I saw your beautiful wife, your son, and new baby added. So everyone's been a bit busy.
No, it's the baby was a week overdue,
Oh,
and I said, well, the missus said, "Oh, I'm going to miss this baby. She's going to have it." I said, "I think she'll have it when we're back."
and
I
that's
don't ask me. I'm not Einstein. I said this baby's probably going to come when we're back. Anyway, on the flight, I think she had it early hours on the Sunday. So he boxed early hours Sunday morning, didn't he? Or Saturday,
yep.
was it? Saturday
Sunday morning, yeah.
Sunday morning. So I think, yeah, I think maybe, yeah, in the night or something, she had the baby anyway. So it's just, we was back in just nick of time.
Well
So
done.
yeah,
Well
perfect.
done. But yeah, congratulations, Peter. Thank you, like I said, for being just being a voice of reason in the sport. It's very much needed. Somebody that can actually be on one side but still be unbiased, which is, like I said, I could learn a lot from you. I think
I
a
am
lot of us could.
unbiased. And look,
Yeah,
when somebody's basically saying and they're giving opinions on people and saying,
yeah,
oh, they're over the hill, they're not, whatever. And I'm not going at Simon Jordan. There probably people in his studio were saying it. I don't know, but when they're referencing, things like this, and I know it's not the case,
mm,
speak up. I'm only speaking up what I believe I know to be the case,
mm,
and I'm entitled to speak up because I'm doing this game.
mm.
So that's where we are. So at least for speaking, a lot of people in my position they say, "Oh, yeah, piss off! I'm not going to speak at all. Do
Yeah,
what you want,
yeah.
not speak at all." but it's nice to share a bit of boxing and a bit of knowledge on the sport. And that's what. Without the fans, we'd have no boxing.
True.
So it's good to be able to speak to the fans, whether they like you, whether they hate you. It's irrelevant. At least there's content going out there, isn't there? Talking about that, you best put this video out tomorrow because I think there's been that many.
I'll put. Oh yeah, I'll put it out tomorrow just for you, Peter. I'm going to the bare
I'm
knuckle.
only messing, but there's been video after video.
Listen, every time I open up my page, I can see Peter Fury smiling on it on YouTube.
I am smiling. I'm very
You're on a
happy.
media tour. I've asked to speak to Rico, and his management team said next week because he's fully booked this week. But at least they haven't said no.
He's actually with Simon Jordan in the morning.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Oh well, there you go then.
So I'm not that insensitive, am I?
Every cloud.
Yeah.
Every cloud.
I'm sure he'll enjoy it there.
Yeah, he will. He will. They'll give him his dues and his respect.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, right, Peter. I'll come and see you in a couple of weeks then.
Come and see me, Abs. You're always welcome. We'll have a coffee or a cup of tea, whatever you want.
Yeah, and yeah, I look forward to it. But thank you. I know. Yeah, just congratulations on a really good performance. We were entertained. It was enjoyable.
That's the main thing. Look, you know,
yeah, I weren't bored watching that. Those
never
rounds
got,
were flying.
He never got the victory, but at least, you know, he done the best he could. That's it. You can, when you win, you win. It's lovely. And when you lose, you lose. That's it. What can you do? You just get on with it, don't you?
Yeah, true, gents. A lot of you. Ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Peter Fury.
Good speaking with you, Abs.